there backstage at the Southwark Playhouse.
I am, yes. I've got my honey and lemon. It's Friday.
And you've got to tell me about this show. I had 2 offie nominees.
Very kind. It centres around the character I play, a middle-aged, mid-50s housewife. She suddenly thinks, I've had a lovely life, but maybe there's more.
Have you ever had any of those moments in your life?
No, of course not. My husband might be watching this.
From a vantage point so rooted, so protected and secure, a world of sheltered husbands and their wives. The image of such bravery seemed distant and obscure, and I just thought, some people's lives,
Some people's lives.
some people's lives. Could I have the oceans? Could I have the skies? Could I have disastrous lows and spectacular highs? Could I have adventure and danger and grit and laughter so fierce that my sides start to split? Could I blindly keep running forever and never get caught? I guess not. This landmark milestone, significant, unique, but daunting, monumental day in human history.
The eagle has landed.
Hello.
Very nice.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello,
How are
Libby.
you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good, good.
You're there backstage at the Southwark Playhouse.
I am, yes. I've got my honey and lemon. It's Friday. End of the week nearly.
Is
Yeah.
it needed?
Yeah, it is a little bit today. Yeah, I've been off busy doing something else during the day and just sort of come in and gone, right, okay, let's try and concentrate on this now. But
I
no,
mean,
it's-
how's it been for you? 'Cause obviously this is post-pandemic, lockdown free.
Oh.
Guys tired from the rest?
it's been a bit, it's been strange in as much as it's lovely to be busy and back doing something,
Yeah.
but it is a bit of a shock to the system after,
Yeah.
18 months of doing nothing, because I was on tour and it got cut short. So it's a bit, it's a bit strange to be back doing it, but it's lovely.
And you've got to tell me about this show. So tell me who you play and how the other characters fit into it. Because it all centres around yours, doesn't it?
It centres around the character I play, Diana, who is a middle-aged, mid-50s housewife, and it's 1969, and it's actually the 20th of July, which is the night of the moon landings, obviously from the USA. And she sat watching this on television, and she suddenly thinks, I've had a lovely life, but maybe there's more. Maybe I've missed out on something. And she picks up her handbag and she walks out the front door, goes to the city, and it's what happens within those next 4 days, and people she meets and characters that influence her and actually make her realize that maybe her life was a little stayed. And then you have the big question of whether she's going to go back.
Have you ever had any of those moments in your life?
No, of course not. My husband might be watching this. No, absolutely not. No, I think there's always moments in everybody's life where they question whether they're doing the right thing, or maybe they should have done this or should have done that. But no, in general, mine, I feel very, very lucky. I have a wonderful family, wonderful children, and it's just, I'm very, very lucky that most of the time I'm working. So I've not got an awful lot to complain about, really. 5 dogs keep me busy, so it's fine.
And of course, you will have only been a toddler when the moon landing's happening. So
Hi.
how's it that you visit that era?
Yeah, I mean, I was about 18 months when the moon landings happened. I don't remember it. My husband's a few years older than me, and he remembers it. He remembers being plonked in front of a television. He was about 4 and sat and made to watch it. It's just a fabulous era. I think we're lucky that there is so much history now that we're able to watch and see from that era. It's just fabulous. I love it because it's quite camp, and Not that, of course, I'm not tall, but it's just wonderful in camp, and I love that sort of late 50s, early 60s into the late 60s era.
And of course, so next year will mark, is it 35 years on the stage for you?
Yes, I'm old.
But that's incredible, isn't it?
It's frightening. It really is frightening, because it only feels like yesterday, you know, that I was graduating from college and, you know, going out and doing my first jobs. So it is a bit scary, but it's also wonderful to look back and, you know, over all the fabulous things I've been lucky enough to do.
And of course, you've been nominated for an offie.
Oh, yeah, very kind. Yeah, no, it's lovely. Yeah, it's always nice to be recognised, isn't it? You know, it's lovely. I don't sort of take, I'm one of those people who I don't read reviews or anything particularly like that until after I finish the job.
Yeah.
I like to sort of just get on with the job, and because I feel whatever people say, as much as it's one person's opinion, it can affect you, be it good or bad. So I like to just focus on what I'm doing and what I've rehearsed and do that. And then maybe at the end, I might have a sneak, but I haven't read any, but it was lovely to be recognised by them. And
of course, it had 2 offie nominees. So the other one was for the set.
A beautiful set as well. Everything, you know, that's the thing about this show. It's a real team effort. And the other 3 actors, Jordan, Becky and Phil, are there with me all the time. And they're a huge support on stage, because I can just, you know, turn around and just think, thank goodness, I'm not here on my own. I'm not here on my own. And everybody, Alex has done the lighting, you know, Chris on, Charles on sound, and Libby, who got nominated for a beautiful set and the costumes, and everybody, and Matthew, our director, and Laura, I have to say, Laura Bangay, the fabulous musical director, who has seen me through it. I mean, because I have an awful lot of singing to do within the show, and she has just been an absolute star. So it's a real team effort. Oh, and here comes one of the team. Here's Jordan.
Hello, how are you?
You come and sit there. Jordan plays Ruby. Hi. He becomes my best friend.
Yes, nice to meet you.
So so your character's kind of, you're the voices in her head. Is that right?
Yes.
How much fun is that?
Yeah, it's really cool, because all 3 of us, we're the voice. Our voices is one character, right? So we're almost like all one, because we're within her. And then we pop into different characters. So we all have like secondary or tertiary characters that we also come into, and they're all very distinct. So I think that like helps create the world that she is like diving into.
It's so lovely having that multi-role thing, because it becomes a real company, a team effort into sort of telling this story all the way through. And also it's great seeing them play the different characters that she meets along the way, which, you know, some are sad, some are very funny, and it's just really good.
Some are not so nice to you.
Some are not very nice to me. No, it's you know, but in that respect, it's great, because it means myself as Diana can go through all those different emotions that she has to feel. As much as she's so scared going out into this city that she knows nothing of, because she's been married to Gerard for 40 years and he's taken over her life, really, even to the point where she doesn't really know how to check into a hotel. She arrives at this hotel and she doesn't know whether she has to pay beforehand. She doesn't know how to sign the register. She signs the register in her maiden name because she's never had to write her married name, because he's done everything for her. So it's a real exploration for her, a bit like the men going on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for you, Jordan, so this is you were supposed to be away on tour with Bat Out of Hell.
Yes, I was actually.
How long into the rehearsals did you get for that?
We completed rehearsals, and
wow.
It was the day before we were supposed to fly out to, I don't know, was it New Jersey first or something? And it was the day before that, and they're like, they've just canceled that date because of COVID, and we had to cancel the flight. And they had finalized their visas and everything. Like we had learned all the everything in 3 weeks, or was it 2 weeks, something like that. It was a whirlwind. And then literally the day before we were supposed to fly out, it all got paused.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what a show, though. Did you manage to catch it when it was in the West End or Manchester?
No, I wasn't here.
I saw one of the first shows of it in Manchester.
Oh.
Because I was on tour with something at the time, and we were at the Palace, and it was on at the Opera House, and we all went there to see it.
Cool.
Phenomenal set.
Isn't it? Like, everything about that show.
Yeah. Yeah.
scale of it, and the songs as well. Like, how was it sounding?
She's been brilliant in it. She's got the most fantastic voice.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I mean, those are some banging songs to.
Yeah, they are.
To
and right now, it's still technically happening. So we plan to start rehearsals back in August. We'll see what happens, but that's the plan. So that team has been really good too. They've kind of held our hand all the way through and been like, this is the plan now that we've got this announcement. So it's all been playing it by ear with that.
Well, I think now, fingers crossed, things will start to be rebooked, and people will have faith in the fact that we will be opening up, end of June, and it will all get back to a little bit of normality. I think it'll take a while to get back to full normality, unfortunately, for theatre, but things are starting to happen, which is great news.
Yeah, exactly. And for any Bat fans, there's West End Live Lounge in a couple of weeks, and I think Glenn and Martha are doing a little reunion.
I know they are. I tried to book a ticket for that, but there's only like a couple balcony seats left in the very back. So
So talking about audiences coming back, we've got to talk about the Southwark Playhouse. So I was lucky enough to come when they had the last 5 years, and the way they've kind of restructured the building to make it completely safe, and the audience in particular with the perspex screens. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how it's felt to?
It is so safe. They've thought about everything. When you first come in, there's no bar service. You have to have a table, sit at a table, and you have table service, or it's drink service to your seat in the house. I mean, in a way, that's quite nice. Yeah. Not having to queue at a bar. I mean, maybe that's something that we can look at in future. But then everything is one-way system. You have to go into the auditorium one way and come out to the toilets the other way, and then back in the one-way system. Within the seats, they've taken out the two middle rows, so there is plenty of space between row A and row B. But also then in your bubbles, there are perspex screens. So you are so completely safe within your bubble as well.
Exactly. Yeah. When you book the tickets, they ask like how many are in your party, and you are literally in little cubicles of only your party. So like you can't even breathe the other person's air.
And in that way, in respect, you're very safe from us as well, because we have markings on the stage. We're not allowed to step out of our markings to sing. Yeah. We have to be so many meters away from the actual first row of the audience in order to sing.
Yeah, so if we step past that line, we can't sing.
We can't sing. We can speak, but we can't sing.
Yeah, because singing can carry, it has to be 3 meters for singing. So they've been really strict with like the blocking even of the show was affected by COVID as far as not singing past this point, or all those sorts of things. So they've been really careful about it, which has been good. And we get tested twice a week.
Yeah, and we're tested. So but even backstage, we have to, although we're not now because we're talking to you, but the dressing rooms, if we're not sat in our individual places, we have to wear our masks to go to the toilet, to go and make a cup of tea, make a honey and lemon, whatever. So everybody is very much aware. It's just a new way of working. And if it's something we have to do to enable us to work, then we'll do it.
Sure will.
And has it been weird to like kind of be able to like touch people and contact with each other?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we had a moment that in rehearsals in the first week when I went to touch someone. And it was me. And I had to link arms with Jordan, with Ruby at some point. And I literally stopped the line and went, that's the first time I've touched somebody in over a year that's not in my arm. Mm-hmm. And it is bizarre being able to touch people properly, because that was before the hugging even came back in, that silly rule that we can now hug people. Mm-hmm. And in a way, sometimes I've quite enjoyed that, not being able to hug people. Yeah. When you see people and you think, I don't really want to hug you. That's my excuse now. No, I can't. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, darn.
Yeah. It is. There was a bit of a moment there. I went, I touched somebody.
This is the other thing I was thinking too. It's very different performing to a masked crowd and in their cubicles. Number one, because it can be hilarious. This is why if somebody's booked a seat on their own, they have 2 dividers right beside them. And if it's a really huge muscly guy or somebody's like a little bit bigger, literally I've seen people watching the show that are like this.
They're just by this perspex.
So that's been kind of funny. I've literally had to hold back laughing a couple of shows because you've got these huge bulky guys that are like in this one cubicle. The other thing too is when you're performing to a masked crowd, you never realize as an actor you are kind of bouncing off of their energy and their facial expressions. And now we don't have that at all. So you can read into people's body language sometimes in the wrong way. Like if I see somebody watching like this and I can't see their face at all, I'm like, oh, they hate it. They hate it. Oh, crap. You know what I mean? But it may not be that at all. Sometimes people are just concentrating, they may be looking like this, but we would never know.
Yeah. Even more so than normal. You have that thing of sometimes you have no idea how the audience are reacting to it.
It's so weird.
But it is a bit strange, but it's still, lovely to be out there. But,
definitely.
But through no fault of the audience, it's just the way it is. They're masked up. And I think perhaps people also are slightly inhibited about laughing out loud or showing any big emotion. Because there's one thing that we haven't really had, coughing.
Yeah,
which has been brilliant. Nobody dare cough in the audience. So that's quite good. We've had the odd glass being knocked over, but then that's to be expected. But nobody coughs anymore.
Yeah,
everybody's scared to, aren't they?
What?
Yeah, but you never realize how much we're bouncing off of, the audience in that way, and just that adjustment of, continuing to really give it your all and knowing that they are enjoying it, but you're not able to see their side of it as much.
And we've got to talk about the production company, because this is a very new company, the Grey Area Theatre Company. What have they been like to work with?
Well, they've been absolutely brilliant. I mean, fair play to them. To set up a production company in the middle of a pandemic and get, production streamed and then something on live as well is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm in absolute awe of them, really. Laura, Matthew and Sam, for just having the balls, can I say balls? For having the balls to do it. And get it out there. And they're fabulous. Because
they're all very young, and they did not wait around for somebody to give them a job or to give them an opportunity. They literally have made an opportunity and a community to create whatever works that they want to, and to put on whatever works they believe in. So I really commend them for that, to be just fresh out of uni in some respects, like a year or two. Yeah. And to be doing such a magnanimous feat that generally people are fearful to start until, maybe they're mid 40s or 50s.
When they're old.
Yeah.
Not old.
I did want to ask, because Matthew's directing it as well.
I think everybody apart from Becky is probably young enough to be my child. So,
yay!
Hey. I'm now the mother or the grandmother, which is really bizarre because, I know how old I am, but I don't feel it. And that's a good thing. But it just feels very odd now to have gone to that side of the profession that of people that when I came in, I was working with and went, oh my God, they're old.
Yeah.
And now that's me.
Hey, but she challenged me she said she could do a cartwheel like me the other day. So she is still.
I will do before the end of the run. I will.
Yeah. But I did want to ask about that. So obviously Matthew's directing it. And you've probably been on stage longer than he's been alive, Wendi.
Well, we had a conversation the other day in the dressing room where Jordan told me what year she was born, and I said, I got married in that year. Yeah, no, absolutely. I worked with Matthew a couple of years ago. We did I did a tour of Salad Days, and he was the assistant director on it. But he was at that point in his last year at Guildford. And he'd come in to help out. Him and another girl, Lizzie, had come in as assistant choreographer. And, they're the same age as my daughter almost. My daughter's only a year behind them. And it's just, it is phenomenal to think, how brilliant they are and how dedicated they are. And that's what I find absolutely wonderful, that they know the business.
Yeah.
I think that's the really lovely thing, because, sometimes today people come in and do this, and they know their business and they know the proper business. They're not just talking about what's happened in the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. They know what's happened in the last 40 years, 50 years, 100 years on stage. They know their musical theatre history. And to me, that's so important. that colleges sometimes don't do nowadays, is teach the history of it.
Yeah, that's true.
So they know that, and they know, you know, what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing, and they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And this is their second production at Southwark Playhouse, as you mentioned. So they had Before After, which was an online or in person. I can't remember.
It was online. It was online with Hadley and Rosalie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Again, pedigree cast there.
Yeah.
It didn't phase him.
I don't know. I haven't asked him that. I should ask him.
He acts so chill, but maybe he's screaming on the inside.
Yeah, maybe. But no, there was no need to be, because he's quite, you know, he knows exactly what he's doing. So it's great.
Just fangirling a little bit on the inside, maybe.
Maybe.
That was one other thing that I was going to say, though, that I did want to mention too. I think they did a great job of just the digital output of the production and stuff, you know, like the live stream that they did for this.
Yeah.
It was such good quality, because I've been a part of like live streams before, and we've all had our share of live stream theater during this past year and a half of COVID. And, you know, it can be really not great production quality, you know, so I really appreciated how they had different angles and a nice quality camera. You know, just everything they did with the sound and everything was really high quality. And sometimes, you know, when there's an internet screening of anything, that can be sometimes where people cut corners, and they didn't.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think probably it's the way forward as well now with any production that's on anyway. I mean, it was amazing. So we came back into the dressing room and you got a call from your family in California that had watched it.
Yeah.
Phil had family in Mauritius that had watched it. And, you know, and this family members would never have got to see the show without that.
And that was my London debut. So I was so happy that my parents could watch it from their living room. And my grandmother too, who's 90, you know, she couldn't have come anyway. And she just, so it's been such a blessing to like have some things that COVID has opened up, like one, how people realize so many jobs can be done at home. Two, people realize how much more passive income really the theaters can get by getting a good recording of the show and streaming that, you know, as long as they want.
Absolutely, because I don't think it will ever stop people coming to the theatre if they can, but it just makes it more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this show in particular was brought over from America.
Yeah.
So how fantastic is that to get a British debut over here after having done so well over there?
Yeah, absolutely lovely, and lovely that, you know, we've had Neil and Brian who wrote it, had them here in the country and they've been to see it, which is fabulous, because they're here doing a workshop, because they've adapted the script and the music, the new music for Bed Knobs and Broomsticks that's going out on tour. So they've been over in the country doing auditions and workshops and stuff, and they've been in to see us and had coffee with them, and they're so lovely and so supportive. And they say, I don't know whether they're telling the truth, I hope they are, that they really liked it and really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds exciting. Did you ask if you could get a part in it?
In what, Bed Knobs?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. Let me call him. 1 second.
No, won't be that pushy.
So tell me more about the music and about the style of it. How would you describe it?
That's an interesting one. It's very intimate. It's very much a story through line. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a big show busy jazz handy type musical.
It's pensive.
It's
and
pensive.
Percussive.
Yeah, I would say, now listen, even my dad said this, and my dad, although I've been doing it for 35 years, still knows nothing about the business, absolutely nothing. But he even said to me, oh, there were a couple of numbers that were a bit Sondheim-esque.
Oh, yeah.
And I went, wow, Dad, flipping heck.
Yeah,
there are, maybe a couple. It's very clever in the way it flows. It goes from those, you know, quirky numbers, then into there's a couple that are pure musical theatre, but then some really beautiful ballads, and emotional ballads, and it's just beautifully written with great support from everybody, to make them really lovely, beautiful, rousing numbers. And we have a fabulous band. We have Laura Bangay, who is just absolutely wonderful on the keys, and then we have a clarinet, a saxophone, and a cello. So it's a beautiful sound.
Yeah, the harmonies are really interesting and tight, and not what you would expect, but in a good way. It's very interesting to the ear. You know how you have a lot of a lot of times modern music theater kind of goes so pop that you can predict what the refrain will be or what the melody is going to be. And this show has like some pop elements and some modern music theater elements to it and Sondheim type of elements, but it's not predictable, especially just the way that the harmonies and the voicings of the chords are constructed.
Yeah. Some of it a little bit clashy, which works in the respect of the character of what people are going through within it. You know, there's some awkward moments. There's some. It's not some of it's not an easy watch, but it just fits. It's necessary and it fits really well, the music with that.
Yeah, definitely, it does a great job of really putting music to the emotion of awkwardness and the emotion of, you know, panic attack or anxiety, and the emotion of just overflowing love and wonder and childlike whimsy.
You mentioned before about the set, which is beautiful, and the costumes. I mean, what's it feel like to be performing on that stage?
Well, it's just lovely to be on any stage, you know, after all our jobs got cut short last year. But it is a particularly beautiful, because it does feel quite intimate. I mean, it's a beautiful, simple set, but so completely effective in its levels and its beautiful roundness, which sort of frames that moonlight backdrop. It just fits in so well with everything, within a living room, within the hotel. It's just perfect, really, without needing to be too fussy, because I suppose also now we have to, at the moment with social distancing, we have to think about things like you know, too much busyness, too many props, too many people touching things, or there's all sorts now that has to be thought out.
Yeah, just the choreography of the cups, like, bruh, you don't even.
They've all got different color codes on the cups, so that we have to have the same cup and glass.
Yeah,
so you can't mix glasses.
The character's handing the cup to the person that you're glancing at, the little color coding, so that you know all these different little elements.
The things that Jordan has to think about. I just take the glass. I don't know whether it's the right one. Let's go. Thanks for the water, because we've had to choreograph points in the show, because like one stage for 90 minutes.
Yeah, we
doing
don't
a lot
leave.
of singing. Points in the show where I can actually have a sip of water. So luckily we've got a restaurant scene, and luckily we've got a hotel room scene, and then we have an apartment scene at Ruby's apartment. So I do get a chance to have a few slurps of water at some point. I never check I've got the right glass. I'm hoping I have.
So wait a minute, you booked 6?
I booked 6 and Bat, and I ended up taking Bat out of hell.
Who knows, one day in the future we might be seeing you as a queen.
So maybe so.
Is Mr. Phil Adéle?
But you're an active musician as well, because I've seen your YouTube channel.
I think I saw this morning that you'd subscribed to that, and I was like, that's going to come up.
And I have to ask Wendi, because I think I'll get shot if I don't by all the Corrie fans.
She might be going back. I didn't say that.
These interviews are completely free and I don't make any money from them. But if you would like to support me, I've set up That Fest to produce theatrical events to raise money for HIV charities. If you would like to make a donation, please check out our website or follow us at That Fest UK. Hi, I'm Philip DeHaley.
And I'm Rob Isles. And we've set up That Fest to produce events and raise money and awareness for HIV charities.
We will be producing events to celebrate and amplify the voices of artists living with HIV.
After realising that so many friends close to me are living with HIV, I felt that I needed to be doing more to raise awareness, not only to the LGBTQ+ community, but to everyone.
We are committed to establishing That Fest as a platform to reduce stigma and to help to celebrate the artists living with HIV and tell their stories.
We plan to curate and produce events, festivals and concerts showcasing new work alongside discussions, talks and music.
We're looking to connect with artists living with HIV.
Singers, dancers, actors, choreographers, directors.
If you do it, let us know about it and email us at thatfest@thatstageyblog.com.
We're really excited for our first project, which will be to release a new cover of A Little Respect by Erasure.
We're looking for anybody with some singing ability to appear on the record.
So get in touch with us.
To help us produce these events, if you would like to make a donation, you can.
Just head over to justgiving.com/crowdfunding/thatfest.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at ThatFestUK.
And I have to ask Wendi, because I think I'll get shot if I don't by all the Corrie fans. So, I mean, you were only in that show for 4 years, but you made such an impact to the history.
I know.
Oh, you're like,
only 4 years. Well, that's a short space of time, because a lot of people, was one man been there 60 years.
Yeah.
From the beginning. Yeah, he's still going. Yeah.
60 years?
Yeah.
No way.
Phil Rhodes,
Did he start it as like a child?
No, he was in his 20s. He's now late 80s. He's amazing. It was, it was 4 years of joy. I loved every minute of it. I was very fortunate with the character that the character took off, and she was a horror, and that was quite nice, because people always remember the nasty ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to get back to what I love doing the most.
Yeah.
Really. I love doing bits of TV as well. I did a Midsummer last year, and a few bits and pieces, but theatre's always sort of where my heart lies.
Well, I did notice, because I saw Tracy Bennett pop back on the cobbles, and I was wondering whether you would be going back, but you don't think so yet.
Moment. No, everybody always asks, and no matter what I say, if I say not at the moment, you can guarantee there'll be a headline tomorrow saying she might be going back. I didn't say that, but no, I'm certainly not. I know that I'm not, because I do have something in the autumn, so I can't. I'm definitely not going back.
But what is it about stage that really kind of has grabbed your heart then, as opposed to TV?
Because it's why I wanted to do it. I spent 10 years in the theatre before Coronation Street, and I trained at drama school and went out into musical theatre, and then straight in comedy theatre. And it's why, as a 10-year-old watching the television and watching all those classic movie musicals, it's what made me want to do the job I do. And I think there's nothing like a live audience. Absolutely nothing like it. As wonderful as television can be, and it's a very different genre and a very different work ethic, and it's you still get a bit of excitement from it, but it's certainly not the same. I'm also quite I'm a bit OCD, if I'm honest, and I like a routine. I'm also getting old. Don't like change. I like a routine. So, I love the fact that I leave the house at 4 p.m. and I get into work at 5 or 5:30. I make myself a cup of tea. I get everything sorted. I start doing this. I start doing that. I just love that routine of it, and meeting up with people here at work. It's a nice, it's a nice social as well as doing the job.
Yeah, because I was going to ask about that. So obviously, with regards to all the theatre you've done solo shows and huge ensemble shows. Is it quite nice to have this where you've got 4 of you?
Yeah, no, it is lovely. And, I've done a really huge mix, but there is something really nice about having a small group of people that are all included in everything. You don't have a cast of 30 where 6 will go off for dinner and do that, and 5 will go. Everybody's, not that we have been able to go out for dinner, unfortunately.
Not yet.
But, not yet. I love that. I think this job aside, one of my favourite jobs ever was at the Park Theatre in Finsbury Park. I did a play there in the Park 90, and there were 8 of us in it, so a bit of a larger company, but we had to squeeze into the tiniest dressing room, men and ladies. We put like a curtain up along the middle of it, and I haven't laughed so much ever. We just had an absolute hoot, and they've become a proper family. It's one of the few WhatsApp groups that's still going after 7 years. Everybody chips in, and it's a lovely, really family feel. So that is a nice thing about doing things with a smaller cast.
How about for you, Jordan? So you sailed the world on cruise ships. I mean, how fantastic is that?
Yeah, I absolutely love doing that job, and I wanted to do a gap year before I started uni, but I had already auditioned for all these music theater schools. And my mom was like, you got into these, you're going to go now, and you can do that later. And I was like,
So after I graduated from Elon University, woof, go Elon. I was like, I know I wanted to travel and get paid for it, so let's do this. And so the first cruise line that I auditioned for, I ended up getting that. And so I went on. Initially, I was singing 4 hours a night in like this big bar casino thing, doing all different genres: Motown, rock, pop, big belter divas to like pop, bubblegum pop. And then I went on to do the main stage shows. So this was with and I absolutely loved it. You're getting paid to travel, and you only are working a couple hours at night, and you're just in a different island or a different country every day. It's amazing. So I'm glad I did it when I did, when I was while I'm young and while I didn't have any roots anywhere or any kids.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
Sorry to interrupt. I'm okay. I'm so sorry I'm late.
Oh, don't worry about it. Come join the party. So please introduce Wendi, your fellow castmate Phil.
Here is Mr. Phil Adéle. He plays another voice, but he plays Daniel. He plays James. He's multi-talented. He does it all.
Well,
and he plays
and he plays the guitar, and he's going into the Lion King. Mm-hmm. What more do you need to know?
That's true.
And this is an interesting fact. So you're from Stockton.
I am from Stockton-on-Tees, yeah.
I'm from Yarm. So
no way. My
in the same town.
Yarm medical practice, so I know Yarm very well.
There we go. How's it been down in London?
Yeah, nice. I mean, I moved down in 2006, so I've been here quite a while now. See, you saying Stockton's brought my accent out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've loved it since I've moved down, and for this career, it just felt like the place to be, to pursue it to its fullest, really. But I've still got a base up there, and I'm very proud to be from there.
Base.
So,
that was a base.
Going home.
Aye.
But
you're an active musician as well, because I've seen your YouTube channel. It's brilliant.
Oh, you've seen more than me.
I saw. I think I saw this morning that you'd subscribed to that, and I was like, that's going to come up.
Well, I did want to ask, because you started the A to Z song challenge, and you've only got up to G. So have you run out?
Well, in the first lockdown, I decided to entertain myself as much as anything else, and I did 30 song covers in 30 days, and that went really well. And I saw it through to the end, and I was like, okay, then what can I do next? I'll do A to Z. And then I got to whatever it was like, I can't sustain this. So, yeah.
What is the letters for, the name of the song?
So it was the name of the band or artist. Was the letter of the alphabet and the cover for each. And maybe I'll pick it up at some point, but yeah, it's long been abandoned, sadly.
Now you have to, because you've been called out.
Yeah. Sorry to disappoint.
I'm waiting for H. I'm waiting to see what comes up.
If you've got a suggestion, I'll do it. You can tell me what you want and I'll do it for you.
So do you play an instrument in the show?
I play guitar, yeah, briefly. One of my characters, Daniel, carries a guitar with him, and there's a little bit of strumming going on, and there's a little song that involves the guitar that I sing to.
Sings to me.
Sing to Daniel.
My head's very close to the guitar. It sounds lovely. Even that close.
I'll try to play it a bit softer.
No.
And have you been entertaining them backstage as well with it?
Absolutely not. No.
Don't put ideas in his head.
Oh, I'd like that. I'd like an accompaniment as we put our makeup on.
There you go. Cool. Give me a set list. I'll work on it. So, yeah, no, it's nice. I always like any opportunity to play instruments in shows is always welcome, because as a kid, I always wanted to be a musician, and then I veered down the actor route. And I've been really glad to find that professionally the two have been married together. And in a lot of the shows I've been in, I've been able to play one of any instruments on my CV. So it's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because did you train at Italia Conti?
I did, yeah. I did the acting course at Italia Conti, yeah.
So were you there at the same time as Mr. Sam Tuttu?
No, I wasn't. I don't know whether he went to that building or the musical theatre one, because they're separate courses. But yeah, no, the alumni from there's getting ever more impressive. So it's cool to see people do so well that have come out of that establishment. Yeah, it's really nice. And
of course, is it your West End debut going to be Lion King?
No, it is. Yeah, it is. So thank you. How do you feel about it? I mean, what a show to go into. Yeah. No, it was actually the first West End show I saw when I moved to London. And I was really quite in awe of it. I remember looking at the Lyceum as a building and thinking how beautiful it was. And I remember it feeling really kind of out of reach and a bit like absurd to even think about it. And now to actually be entering the show, I feel really like
So full circle.
Proud, but very lucky, and just, yeah, full circle for sure.
The circle of life.
And
What about the opening? Tell us.
I'm in the opening. I think it's the front left leg of the elephant.
Keep an eye out, people.
There you go.
But you're more importantly playing.
I'm Ed, the hyena, and I'm cover for Timon and Zazu. So, yeah.
But Ed is he's a character that I would want to play out of all of them.
Yeah, it's just maniacal laughing. So typecast again.
Again.
And it's like you say, it's such a spectacle of a show. I hadn't seen it until the 20th anniversary. It's one of those shows that's kind of like, it's around forever. You don't think it's going to go anywhere. So you keep putting it off. But I was lucky enough to see it just before lockdown. And it's sensational. So you're going to have a ball.
I'll have the best time. Yeah, and enjoy it. It's really, really nice before that, because that's obviously going to take me away from other opportunities for quite some time. It was really nice that this came up, because when I graduated, I made a list of places I want to work at, venues, theatres I want to work in, and Southwark Playhouse has been on that list for the longest time.
Oh, wow.
And so it's really, really exciting that this opportunity just slotted in perfectly, and I'm able to be here doing this, which is, again, ticking another big thing off my list. So, yeah, feel very lucky.
So how many characters do you play?
In this? So I'm a voice in Diana's head. So, and then I'm Daniel and James, who is your landlord.
Yeah. We all have about 3 characters.
I'm Walter Cronkite.
And the voice of Walter Cronkite, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier about like how strange it is to sing to an audience with masks on. Has that been weird for you?
It was a bit of an adjustment at first, and I think we all talked about it. It's just that the general signs of appreciation from an audience you see are the smiles and the beaming grins back at you, and you hear the small little laughs, not just the big ones. And obviously the masks cover people's faces, but also muffle the sound a little bit. And so it was a bit of an adjustment just to trust that they are engaged in the way we expect them to be and hope they are, and that they're enjoying it in the way we hope they are. Because then at the end, or the bigger laughs in the show, they are absolutely there with us. But yeah, it was a bit of an adjustment at first, just looking out and seeing mask-covered faces was an adjustment for sure.
And were you apprehensive about coming back to work and being around people?
Not so much about being around people. I think Southwark Playhouse, I came to see the last 5 years here, and I knew their COVID protocol was really on point. It felt excellent from the moment you walk in to the moment you walk out. So I did feel really safe coming here to work. I think if I felt apprehensive at all, it was after a year of not doing this and doing the thing we all love to do and sharing what we share with audiences. I think I was a bit apprehensive as to whether it would feel the same after a year of being away and whether I could still do it at the level I wanted to almost. You have all these irrational figures in your head. But then quite quickly we found our feet and we're all having a whale of a time, and it's just a pleasure to do what we love doing again,
And just so everyone knows, I don't know if this is going to be shown anywhere, but we're all this close, but we just took a test yesterday.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. So,
and we're usually masked up. It's just for this.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And we were talking about Matthew. How's he been to work with?
No, he has been fab, honestly. Really, he's very, I love working with directors who give you a lot of freedom and space to bring a lot to the table. And you're really rewarded in working with Matthew by bringing loads of ideas into the space and making a lot of offers and citing when things aren't quite clicking and looking for clarification. So he's a very generous director to work with, I found at least. And he certainly was very comfortable with me throwing out a lot of ideas, which works for me. So, yeah.
They are, I forgot they're doing Snowflake as well, which is another enterprising production.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant.
And I think it's Lewis Cornet who's going to be in John and Jen as well at the Southwark Playhouse. So it all ties in.
Yeah, for sure. Which I've got tickets to see, actually. So I can't wait to that. Yeah, it's awesome.
Nice.
Even when I'm gone, they can't get rid of me.
Has it been nice to be back and meet these people?
Yeah, definitely.
Steady.
Yeah,
it's been great.
Yeah, we're getting on great.
No, it's been lovely.
It has.
Yeah.
Again, like being our little bubbles as we all have all around the world for so long. It's nice to be back around other creatives because I don't know, can't speak for anyone else, but I feel inspired by working with other creative people who bring different things to the table than I can. And yeah, so it's been lovely working with a very talented bunch of people. For sure.
Just in the rehearsal room, just wonderful to be creating.
Yeah, for sure.
Even doing a warm up, normally, but just doing a warm up has been wonderful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say, and to be fair, like, because we've been away for so long, like, I feel like all of us are like a little bit more fatigued by the routine, and also because it was a short rehearsal period to learn really hard material. Mm-hmm. So, it has been very tiring, but rewarding. Yeah,
for sure. Mm-hmm. It's that thing as well. Like, I mean, you said the videos I put up, and I did duets with people virtually via Zoom, whatever. But I remember day one of rehearsals, we learned some of the harmonies, and I texted my partner going, I just sang a harmony with other performers in a room together for the first time in a year and a half. And it was really lovely, like putting it all together with people, for sure.
Yeah. Will you be roping Jordan in to do a Battle of Hell medley for you?
I mean, if you're game,
I'd love to do that.
When we get to M in my apparently never-ending song challenge, we will do some real
2025.
Sure,
You just need to do 7 more songs.
There you go. Cool. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, that'd be fun though. I love doing duets.
Yeah, totally. We should.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant.
What was that? Did you come over to London then, Jordan, for that?
Well, I came over here knowing I wanted to work in this market. I was between here and LA. And I came here and did a course at Lambda, just a film course, a film certificate course. And it was lovely. And I was just kind of spying out the land then. I did that in 2018, the summer of 2018. And I was like, I think that I'd be great for this market because, I just made several observations and I was like, I don't know, I just felt led here, like spiritually as well. And just like, I just felt like it was like a divine appointment to come here because I really prayed on it between here and LA. So I just felt like I was supposed to come here. So I just came here on faith and I, thank God, the last contract I did on the ship, one of my friends, he happened to have some great agents and he like called them up randomly, was like, you should represent her. She's amazing, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hi. And they signed me from a freaking FaceTime call. And they have been wonderful. Goldman's management. Yeah. Woo, woo. And they've been amazing. So the moment I hit the ground here, I was auditioning. And you, as an immigrant here, just so you know, you only have 6 months to, as an artist immigrant, I should say, you only have 6 months to audition for stuff. And if you don't get anything there, you have to go back to your country.
Wow.
No pressure.
Yeah. Wow. So no pressure.
It's pressured in a bit. It is. Let alone that.
Right. So literally, I think it was like the first week of the 6th month, I booked 6 and Bat. And I ended up taking Bat out of Hell.
Amazing.
And so it's been such a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
I came here to work, and I just so happened to end up taking that gig in particular.
So wait a minute, you booked 6?
I booked 6 and them at the same time, and 6. I had said, okay, I'm not going to go back to a ship. And it's the same casting team as the West End group, but they happen to be looking for one of the ships instead of West End. And I was like, darn, I just knew it wasn't the right time for me I didn't want to go back to a ship. So I told them, I was like, call me if you need the same role for West End and I'll gladly fill that in.
So who knows, one day in the future, we might be seeing you as a queen.
So maybe so. I'd love that.
So tell me, when can people come and see the show? When's it on?
We're on until June the 12th here at Southwark Playhouse. We have matinees at 3:00 on a Tuesday and a Saturday, and it's 7:30 in the evening. It's an hour and a half straight through, so no interval. So, you're out to get your train if you're worried about getting your train home early, and you can have a drink in your seat. It's very, very safe here. But come and see us. We're having such a lovely time, and it's such a beautiful show. And it'd be lovely to see people.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I can't wait. I'm coming to a matinee, so better be full energy.
Yay!
Awesome.
We will.
We'll see you then.
Yeah,
that's great.
Thank you for watching. These videos are made completely free, so if you have enjoyed it, please do share it and subscribe to my channel if you would like to.